Hello, everybody. This is Tiffani.
What's up? This is Ariel.
And this is episode 20 of Grab Your Cup podcast.
Ayo.
So let me listen, y'all. So I'm gonna start here because we're so appreciative of the people that support us. We gonna just go ahead and issue you a formal apology for
immediately
life and mishaps and things. But just know, we figuring it all out. It's gonna smooth sailing from this point forward. Hear us clearly.
Listen.
That's it.
I get. Don't we go talk about what happened?
Yeah, let's get into it.
No, because the enemy.
Because I started pulling the can, I didn't pop it. Let's pop it.
Pop, lock, and drop. Listen, it is a summer indeed. Okay, so first of all, let me tell you, the enemy stay busy, y'all. Mm-hmm. We recorded an entire amazing podcast for y'all, and let me tell you how I went to edit it, and there were levels that increased and decreased. You would have thought that a recording had taken place. Mm-hmm. No sound at all. It was just a humming noise. Oh, but you were busy, little bee Satan. Fine, take it. You ever seen on Jumanji at the park when the dude, they did like the car didn't have no seats, it ain't had no trunk, it ain't had no doors, and then the tree came to life and just snatched the car up, and he was just like, fine,
right,
take it.
Since we're here.
Since we're here.
Why not?
Fine, take it. That's where I'm at with this thing.
And then from that point, just life has been happening
every day.
Man, I had to take a test for work, and I was being tried through and through.
Every day.
And I passed. So hallelujah for that. But it consumed my life.
Not only did you pass, you did that thing.
Okay. I'm gonna claim it.
I just don't want you to skim over it.
Yeah.
You know how you be trying to downplay yourself?
Well, she checked me. Like, I don't even remember what I said. And you checked my language, and I was like, oh, yeah, that mattered. Right?
It did.
I'm gonna fix that.
When you were like, it was only.
Yeah, only.
And I was like,
only.
Huh? It wasn't only.
Oh, yeah. Because I got a gym membership.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I only did 30 minutes. She was like, well, I did 0 minutes.
So don't throw that only out there, because I did no minutes. And guess how many minutes I plan on doing later on today? A strong 0. Okay, so you better hold that only.
Right, and I was like, you're right. Why did I add only? That matters.
30 minutes. They got whole workout plans that are only 30 minutes long. Some of them is 10. Let me tell you what they don't got. 0 minutes. They got they ain't got a 0 minute workout plan, because I got that one down.
They not selling that DVD.
Nah. I looked for it too. Don't tell nobody, but I was looking for that 0 minute workout plan, and they're not selling that. They're not.
It's called Flat Tummy Tea.
Listen, I'm about to find me one of those belts that you put on that you're supposed to wear when you work out. I'm going to just wear the belt.
And live.
Just see what happens. If I eat this ice cream and wear this belt, do I get the same results?
Well, I feel like it's kind of the same. Like, I didn't have on this belt before, and now I do. Let's see.
So, let's see. I just want to see if I can get some inches. Okay? And I don't mean inches of hair. Mm-hmm. So, take that only up off of there.
So, that's been going on. You got to get into it.
Ah!
You ready?
Listen.
Unload.
Ooh.
We got to give it to them. We got to just talk about what's been happening, and I think this is huge. So,
because I was there.
Yeah.
Do you want to start off with her? Because listen, let me tell you, Sarah J. Roberts.
Y'all already know.
The GOAT.
If y'all know.
You know, you know. Woman Evolved 2019 in Denver, Colorado was everything that it needed to be. Everything that I needed. Let me just paint this picture for y'all. Hey, Golden Girls, picture this. Listen, picture this. I go to Denver, Colorado, minding my own business, trying to be great at this conference, and there is so much black girl magic. There was every color, shape, height, width, everything you could think of, and we all represented ourselves to the epitome of what Black excellence and Black women
Talk about it.
should look like. There was not a moment of love and hip hop while I was there.
Let's go.
Every woman was positive and loving and pouring into the other one. And it was just, so we were in Denver, and we were in a very prominently white area of Denver. Now there's Black people all over Denver, but they sprinkled in there like confetti.
Yeah, sprinkle is a
And
great word.
Because
I saw it, I was like, yep.
it's definitely a sprinkle. And the hotels that we were staying in, everybody that worked there was white, but everybody that was staying in these hotels, because there's about, I don't know, 4,000 of us, was Black and a Black female. And we had our hair together, we had our outfits together, we had smiles on our face, we had Bibles in our hands, we were appreciative and
Denver
positive.
didn't even know what hit them.
Girl, they had no idea. They had no idea. Matter of fact, as I took like 7 Ubers or a Lyft. I was switching between the two. None of them knew this was happening. None of them knew that anything was happening. And I was like, yo,
That's why greatness can't be about the look
absolutely.
and the talk about it.
Just do
gotta
it.
be about
Just do it. Just go out there and do that thing. And we definitely went out there and did that thing. And I was so proud of us. And whenever we saw a Black woman, there was definitely a, hey girl, hey.
Right.
We linked up. I definitely met like 30 women that were amazing. We started a group chat from every city you can think of, every walk of life, every occupation, single mothers, married, engaged, long-term relationships, short relationships. Like, it was just newlyweds. Everything you could think of was there. And it was just you cannot I can't explain or articulate how it felt. You just would have to be there to feel it. Like, I can't explain it to you. But there was so much power in that room, and there was so much positivity and love, and y'all, God was up in that room and he was doing his thing, and I just came back full. And everybody else said the same thing, like they came back full because you recognize what you need to be doing. You can't keep putting it off. That there's other people that are going through what you're going through in the place that you're in, and the space that you're in, and you're not in it alone, and they struggling just like you. So do it. Everybody just knows, okay, let's just do it. So I would suggest anybody who hasn't had an opportunity to go to any women's conference, but definitely Sarah's conference, it was amazing. But just go to a women's conference, whether it's whatever your speed is, right? So I go to women Christian conferences. You don't, if that's not your thing, that's not your thing. Go to a women's empowering conference about entrepreneurship. Go to a women's empowering conference about parenting. Go to a women's empowering conference about health and wellness. Go to anything that you think is going to pour into your cup.
Yes.
Because you will not regret it. You will know that you got everything that you put your money into. They put their best foot forward. She had everything you could think of. There was a session about daddy issues. There was a session about masculinity with men and how women treat their men. It was a session in there about debt. There was a session in there about purpose, entrepreneurship, worship, leadership. Myleek was there. She started Curlbox. Carrie Hilson was there. She was talking about relationship. TD Jakes was there. Sarah Jakes, Cora. It was so many different avenues that you didn't have to go there just because you were a Christian. But that part of it, if that's what you believe and what you follow, you get that cup filled in also. Right. And it was just a full room of worship and positivity from women.
Well, I think the thing about Sarah Jakes, like, I didn't go, but I was represented.
She definitely.
Because my homie was there, you feel me?
All day.
That's what happened when you gather. Anyway. But the thing I think that's great about Sarah Jakes and why she reaches people to the capacity that she does is I think she understands how to resonate to different people in different places. You know, she's helped evolve, I feel like, the look.
Yes.
The look of what it's supposed to look like, of growing spiritually, growing personally within yourself, and kind of wearing the badge of a lot of things that us as women feel shameful about.
Absolutely.
And showing us how to triumph and not be held down from that. So I think it makes so much sense to me that a conference that she headlines would be tailored that way, to touch so many avenues
for
in
sure.
that type of way. Because I don't think I've even heard of another Christian conference, women's conference, Christian conference, that kind of broke down those things, like the entrepreneurial side and the financial side. You know, it kind of strictly kind of deals with your spirit and the Christianity and the spiritual aspects of it. So,
and she definitely touches on accountability and vulnerability, which are so key. And it's the way that she articulates, like we say it here on our podcast all the time, but when you hear somebody else talking about it, it's like, yeah, it's like that validation, like, I knew that this is what I needed to tackle, but hearing somebody else saying it, I'm like, okay, I'm walking in the right direction.
Right.
I'm doing what I know I should have been doing. And somebody else who's already done the walk is telling me, this is what I had to do on my walk also. And you're kind of like, okay, so.
It's like comforting.
Yeah, it is. It's so comforting because you feel more than validated. Like, it's confirmation. And it's like, it makes you feel secure in your decision. Because a lot of times we feel like we're winging it. Like, well, I think that this is what I should be doing. I'm not sure if this is what I should be doing. And then when you hear somebody says, no, this is what you should be doing, who's actually done the walk. Because it's different when you hear from people who haven't done the walk, and they're just telling you
what you should be doing.
And you're like,
oh, okay, good talk.
So in 94, what was you doing?
Right.
Oh, okay, nothing. Cool. But it was just so uplifting to be able to have that type of pouring into you.
And I think she, as a woman herself, exemplifies a lot of things that a lot of women aspire for themselves in different ways. If it's the entrepreneurial way with the clothing line, or just the way she's evolved the brand of Woman Evolved.
Absolutely. She had parenting classes there too.
There we go.
And worship.
And then if you're looking at her marriage, if you're looking at yourself as someone who's come out of a failed relationship,
absolutely,
and going
they talked about divorce.
If you're in a blended family situation,
they talked about blended families.
If you're, you know, she has that pressure from kind of being herself under the shadow of her parents.
Absolutely.
That, you know, all of that. So
and about how Christians are so judgmental. They talk about everything, like how the Christian church told her that, you know, she told her husband that he shouldn't leave his wife because she, you know, the only reason why you're supposed to get divorced is infidelity. Even if the person that you married wasn't what God told you, you was just doing that on your own. God did not, this is not an ordained marriage. You just was doing something. God looking at you like, don't look at me, I ain't had nothing to do with this.
Right.
You doing what you want to do over here, ain't you? And some people in the church will tell you, like, you know, you just have to figure it out and write it out. And what people fail to realize is that God says you're supposed to stay with your husband or wife that he sent you, not the one that you chose to do what you want to do with. That ain't what he said. Not you, because when you're doing what you want to do anyway, you might as well do what he tell. When you're separated, after you separate from somebody, get still, be silent, and wait for the person that God actually wanted you to be with in the first place. And then when you get in that marriage, that's you keep
while
fighting.
You're working on being the person he called for you to be.
Girl, do that. Say it.
That's important.
That's all of this. That's what all of this is.
You can't get the person you supposed to have not being the version of you supposed to be. You know, like, gotta happen together. That's a marriage in itself. But I think I'll definitely want to try to go next year. And you saying that about different conferences and things like that, I know years ago when I first ever looked into doing event planning and started doing the research of what's out there, and even had the idea of starting my own event planning business, I realized it's more now today, and I don't even feel like that was that long ago. But there were no degree programs really for it.
Nope.
It just was basically hospitality. What is it? Travel and tourism is the category that they'll be like, yeah, do that. You can do that, and that groups into that. No, I don't want to learn about the hotel field. I know why event planning fits into that.
Correct.
But no, it's specific. And then you see the things that do exist, or the kind of like a la carte programs. You could find a wedding planner program,
right,
that you could take, that I saw community colleges would have. And then you start looking up the requirements to get certifications, and then you see how much experience and things that you're supposed to have that you can't get because it's nothing out here for it. And I started looking up, there's an event planning magazine that through a conference, they throw something every year that I haven't been to, but I aspire to go to. But at that time, even then, it really like tickled my fancy of like, oh, that'd be really dope to go to.
Right.
And now being where I am now, it's so great to see people using their platforms to find ways to reach other people in this kind of retreat cultivated type of way. Like you see like Revolt, Diddy creating Revolt, and then he has a music conference where producers, artists, all different people can come and you can get poured into for your passion in that type of way. So I think that's really important. And I think like when we shared our thoughts and topics on this podcast, I think I really want the average ear listening to not confuse where we are in our spirituality, that's what we're ordaining of how everybody out here needs to be functioning. We can just only speak on our truth and where we are. But I think it's important for you to be able to know the need of getting your cup full for those things that attach to you. Because at one point in time, I feel like that's a level of growth even in yourself, of kind of taking the step that this is something you would include in your life, because at one point in time it wouldn't have. Even things you were passionate about before. It wouldn't
have shown on my radar as something that I aspired to do.
Right.
It wasn't who I was at that point.
Right.
And I realize now that I won't say that I lacked substance, but the substance that I have now is a little thicker.
It's a little different.
It's a little different. It's not as watered down as it was before. I got a little, you can stick that spoon in that thing and it's gonna stand straight up like that thick oatmeal. You know what I'm saying? Like before, it might fall over a little bit. No.
Right.
Not now.
Got some weight to it.
Got a little weight to it. Got a little oomph. And man, I can't wait for next year. And it's going to get bigger and bigger. At some point, she's not going to be able to do it at that church. She's gonna have to do it somewhere else, because what happens is just what's happening right now. A person goes and they come and tell their friends, and they're like, "Listen, next year we have to be there. Buy tickets," and it just keeps rolling around. And then that person tells their cousin and tells their sister, and it's like, "You got to go," and then so on and so forth. So it's just a constant touching of positivity to one another.
You know who I'm looking forward to in projection of growing their platform? Kev on Stage and his wife.
Absolutely.
Because I foresee
love
that.
Love them. Now let me tell you so I follow their podcast also, and they did a podcast the other day. Him and his male podcast host that he has with him, not the one he has with his wife. On their podcast, he was talking about taking his son to therapy because there's such a stigma in the Black community, they were discussing how they are all about therapy. And listen, I'm with it. Look, therapy is my thing. I will go lay on the couch in a minute. Do you hear me? Or sit on that thing. I'm going to the couch. And
give me a pillow on the floor. I'm in that thing.
Can I have a box of tissue? Because this might get rough. Ma'am, you got water up in here? I get thirsty.
Thank you.
But he was talking about how his son was saying in the therapy session how much he misses them because of them touring so much now. Yeah. And he said that if he has to scale back because his son is young and misses him, then that's what he has to do. Because he started doing this for his family. Right. So you can't start something for your family, it start damaging your family, and then you keep doing it, but it's still saying that it's for your family. You can't do that. Yeah. And he was saying that if he has to scale back, then he will, because his son was saying, like, I miss y'all, like I just want y'all there. Like we don't have to be doing anything. And his son is like 11 or something. Mm-hmm. And when he was talking, you know, and I had thought the same thing about how I would love them to do more. I think that just the same way that Sarah said, if you want to see me, you need to come out here. Him and his wife are going to have to start telling people, like, hey, if you want to see us, you're going to have to come here. Because this is where I'm at. I can't keep traveling like that. My sons need me. And, you know, I feel like once his fan base is strong, but I assume that once it gets a little bit stronger, he's going to be able to say that. Like Sarah said, y'all gonna have to come to Denver, boo,
right?
And sign up, okay? Because I don't have time to be flying to every state to see y'all. Now she does do that, but her big conference is in one central location,
right?
So
and you know, the same with him. I think that's a pressure that a lot of us feel in different ways when you're like advancing in different ways, and it starts to conflict and threaten and alter other areas of your life. You maybe I'm flourishing in this way, but this other part is taking a hit because I'm flourishing over here. And what do you do? And especially for what he does, and I think what's authentically great about it, you gotta remember your purpose.
Absolutely, don't forget that.
Because you can you know, you can get tricked with the glitter and the glam of everything and kind of start chasing that. And like, hey, I gotta be seen, I gotta get present, I gotta keep being out here. And those are the things we think because we're telling ourselves that's how we do it. Or maybe that work, you could have done that before.
Right.
In the beginning, when they were starting off and this first became his thing, his kids were at a different space. They probably were younger. He probably wouldn't have been able to articulate, you know, how this was making him feel in this type of way. But you're here, and that maybe that method isn't working how it used to. And I know for me, that's been a conflict. I don't know. I was about to try to give it a time frame. That's a conflict that I have all the time with myself of knowing that things that used to work don't work the same way. Like, I can't come at this the same angle, and sometimes it's super frustrating, and I'm just like mad about it. I'm just like, you know, I might start internalizing. I might start being like, what is wrong with me?
Yeah.
Why, you know, I forget things more. Like, do I need to take what do I have to do? But this isn't a problem. Why do I have to write stuff down that I didn't have to write down before? Why do I have to plan stuff so in advance that I never had to plan in a way? Like, just those little things that start making you feel like it's altering you or robbing you of the parts of you identify with. Sometimes we're not always equipped to know how to handle that or adjust to that, and I think that starts to become the idea of this analogy that I have of like upgrading your system, like your phone. So the analogy I have is that, you know, your phone, when you have an update that needs to come through your phone, whether you manually do it, it pops up though. It happens. They send you a message. Some phones don't. You just have to figure out that's what you need to do.
Let me tell you how much I hate and hate is a strong word, so I want to use it.
Because of that.
Because of how strong that word is. Let me use that thing. I hate the update on my phone. Like, literally, my phone just forced me to do an update that I have been trying not to do for like over 6 months. And the reason why it is why I hate it so much is because everything on my phone is completely different now. Like, my signal ain't the same. My settings on my phone not the same. I had to redo my whole phone. And then I called the phone company. They're all like, well, let's just do a hard reset. Ma'am, there's no in between. There's a, your phone's working fine, or a, we're going to have to reset your entire phone. Are you serious right now?
Well, here's the thing. Your phone is still working fine. It's working differently.
It depends on where I'm at, because I told you today how at certain parts of my job my phone said, no, you just work today, because if I don't allow your phone to work, you ain't got nothing to do your job.
That's what I said. It's different.
And that's not what I pay this phone bill to do. This phone bill is so that it work where the hell I tell it to work, not where it tell me it's gonna work. That's the problem. Like, is my half my bill gonna be off because I can only use my phone half the time? How about that?
So the analogy,
I hate it. I'm sorry, y'all, but I really hate when phones update.
Is sometimes we have to do those system updates with ourselves, because we go through things or changes happen in our lives, and we kind of start just trying to keep going forward the way we normally did, and it doesn't work anymore.
You're absolutely correct.
And so, that the traumas, that the disappointments, that the hurt, that the sadness, that the things that we endure that shake us up, that alter our perspectives, that threaten our peace, that scare us even.
Yep. Good word.
They just alter how your outlook is, and then you try to keep going until you hit certain parts that say, oh, this don't work the same. Like, I can't do this the same. I didn't even think of this example before, but for me, suicide is a tough subject. And losing two people I knew closely, young, who committed suicide, it changed my lens of my sensitivity to even people speaking on it or seeing it, or it represented, like, I started almost having to shut down when you would hear people say, kill yourself. And I'd be like, oh, whoa. Mm-hmm.
Which I used to say all the time.
Right.
I would just like to add.
But
not meant to literally kill yourself, but to say it to somebody in any context.
Right.
It's like,
this is a little harsh.
How'd you get there?
Right. Exactly.
So it's like, so just like the old girl that was talking about, so we're going to have to hard reset your phone. Wait, how did we get there?
Exactly.
There was no steps in between.
Exactly.
We went straight to kill yourself. Okay.
Right. And because of that, I would have heard it and never reacted like that.
Yeah.
As a person who has dealt with my own battles with suicide, it still didn't penetrate that way to hear it. Because I could just separate it. And it
right.
was, that's just how people talk. I know what they mean.
Yeah.
It didn't, it didn't do that to me. I couldn't avoid it at that point.
Yes.
It was, my lenses were different. So it changed, and I can't change how other people are going to talk around me.
Right.
But it started making me be accountable for how I talk.
And your language.
Absolutely. It had to change. It had to. I couldn't be reckless
that
way.
My change didn't, because I haven't experienced suicide on the level that you have, which I think that it changes things for people even without them knowing it. Mm-hmm. And that's not what happened to me, but I completely get why that's how it happened for you. But mine changed because I just wanted to talk with more love to people.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because I was spoken to so harshly
Exactly.
that I was more conscious of how I spoke to people, because I didn't want to make people feel how I was being made feel.
Yeah.
And how I felt in those times. And I was like, I don't want to be on the end of that. The reason why a person is feeling that way. And that was my upgrade. Like my update to my system was, do I do that to people? And then you self-check and be like, well, I don't know if I do or if I don't, but let's just not.
Well, let's make sure.
I can tell you for sure, if I don't say this, I won't make that person feel like that. And it wasn't until those moments, and I feel like something like that has to happen when people, like you were saying, have to update their software. Like, you have to update it.
And the problem is, it had to change that I had to be accountable for language, but also what I was tolerating.
Yeah.
I couldn't have conversations the same with people that I knew were that reckless to talk that way. Like, I had to protect myself from that because I was vulnerable to it, and experiencing that brought a different vulnerability with me, with who I was as a person, that it carried with me. Like, I couldn't put myself in the same environments because of it. I could try, I'd feel terrible, so it's like I couldn't, what am I trying to say? If I allow myself to listen to someone talk recklessly with their words, even if they didn't say words like kill yourself, I felt bad after.
Yeah.
Listening to it.
Yeah.
Because I could know what it feel like to someone else for what they might have been saying or talking about if they had experienced different things that it was related to. Like, just because it didn't relate to what I experienced, I was so vulnerable in that space where I had to be conscious, period, because it affected me. Like, I was going to kind of go into a shutdown. Hearing people, it wasn't be me, but if I was just trying to be cool, like, let me not be the person to be like, hey, don't say that. So I'm going to just sit here and listen to you all talk crazy.
Yes.
It made me feel bad, though. And they'd be like, why you quiet? No,
because I don't have nothing
I don't really know what to say. But it's tearing me up, and I'm putting myself in that setting, and that's kind of sometimes when we're not making that adjustment, because you just want to be okay. I want to be okay. I don't want to be the person that's weird because of what I've been through.
Yep.
I don't want to be the person that's like, no, change things, but you have to make those self-evaluations of what needs to be tweaked and altered, because things are different. Things have changed. Things have evolved. I think people who are parents can 1,000% identify with that.
Yes.
That your sensory is just different.
Yes.
Than stuff you had no concern of.
Right. For sure.
I play the music that I like. It's a pastime of me to get in a car and blast what I want to hear. So I can't blast just everything I want to hear.
Absolutely.
When
you have
kids.
the kids in the car, and you have to be censored, and you have to be cognitive and conscious of what's happening.
Now, we can argue to say that I shouldn't be listening to a certain level of vulgarity anyway.
But you know what I feel, though? Because we were having a conversation about that, about, y'all can't see me, I'm air quoting secular music.
Right.
And people say what does Tina Gray say? Be careful what you allow. Tina Gray says, be careful what you allow today. And I think music and television plays a part also. But I think it also, when it comes, another thing that I learned about myself is when my system got updated, certain things just didn't appeal to me anymore. So there would be music that came on that I was just like, nah, I'm good. But then there would be some stuff to come on, but like, oh no, I can still rock to that. You still gonna get that that bop about me.
Absolutely.
But I used to watch Love and Hip Hop all the time. I literally can't do it anymore.
Nope.
Like I can like stumble across it as I'm changing channels and then look at it for a few seconds and then turn to the Discovery Channel, which I was trying to get to in the first place. Or
but even the cognitive, but here's the thing, it doesn't stop your world from existing where some of the things that you can't, I'll say hold on to from Love and Hip Hop, it's still coming your way, but you're cognitive enough to know I can't go choosing this like the same way. You see what I'm saying? Like there's Love and Hip Hop stuff happening every day in outside of Love and Hip Hop.
I saw it this morning on my way to work.
Right. But when you're choosing it, and I think that's what I think sometimes we're not conscious because we're like, oh, it's just TV that you don't have to watch.
Correct.
And I know for me, and I think I can't remember the context I spoke about it, but I know I spoke about it. In working on me, I had to block out that too.
Yes.
Like, so I just had to get devoted to myself. And it wasn't saying like, oh, this is bad, so let me. No. For one, my time was different, so I didn't have time. I wasn't watching TV, period.
Say that again.
In a certain type of way. But, when my spirit is fickle, when I'm battling negative thoughts with myself daily, I can't see people tearing each other down, cussing each other out. Like, that's just fueling something I'm already fighting within myself.
You know what I've heard people say about that, though? I've heard people say, well, it makes me feel better to see that, you know, people of this status or of this, you know, in the limelight going through stuff. I'm be like, so it makes you feel better to see people being terrible because at least your life ain't that terrible. Is that what you're trying to say? Because to me, that's not okay.
No, it's not.
It's not okay. But some people feel that way.
But then you have to be accountable that you wouldn't feel any way for someone to feel better that you're going through trauma.
Yeah.
If you feel that, that's fine.
Yeah.
You have to be okay to be on the receiving end of what you're going to dish out then. So, you know, sometimes I think it comes in terms of that. Sometimes I think it can come that due to the things you've experienced, your job doesn't work for you no more.
Right.
You know, like, this is where I go. Of course I need work. Of course I need to go. I've been here for years. It just starts to become such a conflict. Like, I'm miserable.
Preaching to the choir.
I'm miserable.
Say that thing.
So I'm here. I'm doing my duty, but it's taking a hold on my life that it doesn't work the same. I don't get to walk in here, and it's not going to. I personally don't think that's all just about changing your employer. It's being able to make cognitive decisions for yourself to put yourself in better situations.
Yes.
You know, and that may come in the form of that, but if you're just chasing the ideal employer, you know, you might be on a rabbit hunt. But if you are, the win there is being able to say, I can identify what this is conflicting with.
Right.
I can see how and why this is a conflict, and as comfortable as I am in this, I may have to make an update here because I'm not the same version of me that started working here.
And not only make an update, but you know how sometimes when you update, you not sure of what got updated.
Right.
Like no, you got to take notes and take notice of the things that you're changing so you can keep track of your progress, so that you can acknowledge where you were so that you don't go back to that space, and where you are now so that you can continue to make progress and move forward. Because a lot of times when you don't know the progress that you're making, you don't recognize that was actually a step backwards. It wasn't a step forward. You were actually in a better position before you did that update. And it's kind of like if you got Windows 98 and then you should have went to Windows 2000, but you decided you was going to go to Windows 94. Like, ma'am, you do know you just went back to dial-up.
Right.
We over here wireless.
And sometimes I think when you're in a situation where you're dealing with a force update,
Yeah.
Like you were forced into this update. Your life has adjusted, and you're trying to function like the adjustment didn't happen.
Correct.
That will cause misery and chaos within yourself too, because you are dreading the change that has happened. It's here.
Dreading it, but also fighting it.
Yeah, like it's going away. It's here.
And it's going to happen, whether you want it to or not. And that's another issue that people have, that when you're evolving, and when you're evolving, your environment is evolving, everything around you is moving forward. It's inevitable that certain things are going to change. Certain people can't stay. Certain behaviors can't stay. You're moving forward. And then you're like, but no.
Right. I want to keep that part.
That part, though. And it's like, oh, that's the main thing. We changing up in this.
Listen.
That's the main thing.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like when you, like, so, one of the big gripes about like phone updates, that's what it is. It's like your icons are different, certain settings aren't working the same. That's what I think happens with a phone update though. Like there are changes, things are moved around, something doesn't work, my contacts look different, icons look different, things are in different places. And I've been in this functionality with my phone. Like, it's the same phone. I'm the same me.
Yep.
But I got to function differently than every way I knew. Like, so here's the thing. My contacts are still here. I still have certain settings. I don't have access to things that I did have access to at one point in time. And sometimes that could come in the form of relationships, meaning, I can't talk to this friend the way I was talking to this friend before.
Ew.
You know, like I don't necessarily like cut you, but it's gonna look different.
Yeah, that's a thing.
It's gonna look different.
It's a thing.
Because things have changed.
Because things are different. It's gonna look different.
Things are different. And I know, sometimes because I've done it, you will generate a ripple effect in your life in other areas, just trying to keep stuff looking the same, fighting that change so much, and not applying those lessons you've already learned. Just like literally creating self-turmoil within yourself, because I want to keep this part the same. Yep. So I want to change. I want to be in a better space, but I would like to have this person still be my friend, and I would still like to make this type of money, and I still want all these things that make me comfortable to be the same. I just want to grow in this area, like it's a request line. This is not Burger King.
Either you gonna grow all the way. It's like trees don't get to say, well, listen, I just want, green leaves. I don't want longer branches. I don't want to get taller.
I don't really do autumn with falling. You know what I'm saying? I would like to be that one that stays all year round. That's me.
I just feel like I should be able to put. That's not how growth works. Mm-hmm. Either it's all or nothing. The whole thing gotta grow, or no. And sometimes people get caught up in the fact that you updating who you are and you growing means that the parts of you that have to grow, you're losing yourself.
Yes.
Because that was my favorite line, baby.
Yes.
I would say on a regular, I just don't want to lose myself. And I remember I had this conversation with my ex, and I was like, I don't want to lose myself. And I remember him saying to me, what if what you turn into is better than what you were? Now, let me tell you, I'm going to be honest. When he said that to me, I was offended. How you going to tell me that I need to be better than what I am? As if it's not possible that you could be better than where you are.
Right.
Just as a person, I can always be better as a mother. I can always be better as a friend, a daughter, whatever. And then I was like, oh, that's what you mean.
Right, then you started walking the walk.
So I decided that I just needed to embrace updating who I am. And let me tell you, she got amazing.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I've had this conversation. I know that period of reflection too. I don't think I've ever was like, I didn't want to lose me, but I unconsciously was holding on to more than I thought I was.
Oh, uh-huh.
And it was just comfort.
Right.
And not really trying to be in control, because we all struggle with control, and trying to tailor what the growth look like. Because when, if your finances are struggling, if you're struggling with relationship, if you're struggling in specific areas, you're looking at growth. You're not looking at what it's going to take to get that growth.
Right.
You just want the end results of like, I want this part better.
Right.
So what if better finances mean I see my friends less? I'm super busy. I don't get to spend time with my kids the way we want. And then I'm like, wait. But I wanted more money, but wait. I
right.
mean, no, I gotta be able to go to my kids' dance shows. I mean, like, you. But you want.
But that's what you said you wanted, though.
Right. Yeah. So, you trying to get it or no? Not this way. Okay, we'll stay right here. No, I don't want to stay here. It doesn't work that way.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of us.
And some people forget that every other month, every 3 months, this phone trying to update.
All the time.
Who's to say that that's not something that you have to temporarily do, and then you get another update,
exactly,
and you Mario brother move up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? You go up to the next level, and now you can spend more time with your kids because you hustle hard for them 3 months, or you pushed hard. People feel like they have to stay in that place, and just because you in that place temporarily, like you were 3 months before that,
exactly,
or you were 6 months before that, you were in a different place. It doesn't have to be a permanent fixture. And the thought of losing yourself is so interesting because you're constantly changing.
Mm-hmm.
But like you were talking about how much I hate when my phone changes, I'm gonna get used to these new buttons. I'm gonna get used to the new way my phone is set up.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna eventually
the next update.
But eventually I'm not even gonna remember what my phone looked like before this update.
Yep.
Because what this new update is going to become the norm.
Right.
And then once it becomes the norm, I'm going to be upset when I get another update that changes it from this one.
And I feel like you have a choice. Like, you could sit here every day just mad at your phone. Just mad. Every day. And I mean, you're going to go through your period of adjustment. That's what I'm saying. You're mad. You're upset right now.
I can get at least 5 days.
Yep, you do. But I'm saying it would only be self-inflicted misery to last 6 months of anger about something that is here.
Correct. It's here.
It's here.
So now what?
I think a lot of times we don't want to deal with the reality of those changes, or those things. I think it happens in relationships too, and that's not always a mate or a partner. That's family, that's siblings or parents, or that's in friendships. I think sometimes when you are you enter that friendship a certain way. We kind of talked about that, like friends don't get to evolve and grow.
Absolutely.
You want them to be and serve that person. You were my kick it friend. Well, I ain't a kicky person no more. You know what I'm saying? So are we not friends? Like,
people have that when you have a kid and they don't.
Child, that's
like when y'all both kidless and then somebody end up messing around, have a baby.
Child, it's a thing because child. It just has balanced out that more people around me have kids now.
Mm-hmm. But see, I was a different one because I didn't have my son until I was 26. Mm-hmm. All my friends had their kids early. My best friend had her kid when she was like 15. So to me, I was late.
Right.
And everybody was like, but I was always the friend that was like, no, I won't. I'm going to be out of town. No, I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing it. And everybody was like, oh, I wish I could do that. And now my son is 13. Mm-hmm. And they kids is almost in college.
Right.
And I'm over here like, no. I have to be at home because my son can't stay home by himself. Right. And all my friends is like, I'm going out. He's 17. He can be at home by himself. And I'm like, mine's 7.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
not yet.
I don't have that luxury yet.
Right.
But, it's the same thing. It's always going to be a difference. And then when it's time to move forward, you have to choose.
Yeah.
What you gonna do? Are you going to stay in that same place, or are you gonna move forward?
Yeah. And I think it's a level of being kind to yourself, of not being dwelling so much in being upset that the changes are here.
Yes.
Staying true to yourself through them, you know, because there's a part of that that's the same. Even when those system updates change, there's certain functionalities that don't change.
Correct.
You still can call.
Yes.
You still can text. You still can get on the internet. You still, you know, like, there's still certain basic functionalities of the purpose of your phone.
Right.
That work no matter what update. Like, so maybe the way you set your contacts or your alarm is different.
Yes.
But there's some stuff that say, and you will end up forgetting that, being so upset about the changes.
Yes. For sure.
And some of those basic functionalities, I feel like as people, it related to that analogy, that aligns in purpose. There's some things about the purpose, about what you're supposed to be doing, what's meant for you, that's not going to change even when the system keeps updating. Even when you keep going through the tough parts, the trauma, you figure it out, you start finessing it, another change happens. There's certain functionalities to your purpose that are still going to be on your plate, that's meant for you, that are supposed to withstand all of that.
Yes.
And you'll get caught up, worried about the change, and you'll lose your purpose. And that's really what's making you more miserable, to be honest. That you're not functioning purpose no more. You're just angry at change.
Because that purpose thing, y'all don't even know how important. I had no idea how important it was. Like, until I figured out what it was. And then I was like, yo, you move different. You think different. You accept different. You don't accept just anything. And you speak differently. It's a completely different life that you live when you're moving in purpose. Mm-hmm. Because when you're not moving in purpose, you're just like moving around all willy-nilly. Mm-hmm. When purpose comes in, it is focused. Mm-hmm. It is driven. Mm-hmm. It is intentional. Mm-hmm. And it's direct. When it's not in purpose, it's like, well, it's a whole bunch of that. It's a whole bunch of, well, like, you do that for everything. Yeah, I guess so. When you moving in purpose, it's like, nah, that don't work for what I'm doing over here, fam.
Yeah, I think in purpose, when you commit to it, it doesn't stop the mess. It doesn't stop things from happening. But I do think it kind of, there's an aura of protection around it that it don't penetrate. Certain things don't penetrate when you moving in purpose.
Yeah.
Like,
and because it doesn't align with whatever's happening doesn't align with your purpose, you like, nah.
You identify differently.
Absolutely. You look at it and go, no, we ain't gonna be able to do that.
Yeah, because you're committed. So you like, yeah, it's a no for me, dog. And those lies
yeah, it's a no for me, dog.
And those lies we tell ourselves, and you when you're not doing that and just in the negativity, you gotta move different.
Right.
So what would you say are your takeaways about updating your system?
So, taking an example from this phone that definitely updated yesterday, as much as I hate my phone updating and I loathe everything changing on my phone, I literally am not gonna care about this.
Nope.
In like 2 weeks. I'm gonna be so used to how my phone is functioning, and every once in a while something's gonna pop up and be like, oh, I remember I used to be able to do before that update. But it's not gonna be that significant that I'm over here making life decisions and
want to purchase a whole brand new phone,
girl, because that ain't definitely ain't about to happen.
Exactly.
And then you just get over it and you move forward with the progress. You move forward with the change. You keep moving in your purpose, which keeps you focused on what you're supposed to be doing, and you are able to intertwine whatever the update is with what it is that you're doing with your purpose. And it doesn't mean that when you're updating your system, doesn't mean that, you know, we're this terrible person and then you need to change who you were completely. That doesn't mean that's not what that means, because that's how I used to take it. That everything that was me was wrong.
Right.
And that's not what that means. It just means, why can't you do that a little bit better? If there's a way to figure out how to do something better, why would you not want to learn how to do that?
Right.
So that would be my takeaway.
I think my takeaway is it's unavoidable.
Say that again.
Updating your system is unavoidable. Whether it's manual or forced. And there's power in being able to stand where you are and recognize the next steps that are needed to happen. And I think a lot of times we are slow to pull the trigger on that manual update that we know needs to happen because we don't know what all we're gonna lose, so we're fearful of it.
Yep.
And you end up prolonging and creating more trauma staying in a space you're not supposed to be in.
Ever.
You know, like, I know that I need to be doing something, this idea that's been in my head about entrepreneurship, or I know my finances are like killing me, but I don't want to do those little things. I don't, I feel like I should be able to go and when I want a steak dinner and shrimp tacos and get them. Like, I just feel like I should be able to.
But your checking account says, ma'am.
And then Southwest was like, we got a sale. And you was like, I got steak tacos.
Now I can't get these $59 tickets to go somewhere else. Nope.
I just overdraft my account.
The answer's nope. Nopity.
And you gotta know what you're trying to do and stop and being more convicted to the purpose than the journey.
And sit in that thing.
Yeah, sit in your purpose. Hey, my purpose is this, and then we'll get discouraged along the way. And the devil's tricky like that. He'll really make you feel like you're not doing nothing when you know what you're doing. Like, you like, hey.
That's when he lean over and he be whispering sweet nothings like, yeah,
get the tacos.
You know how long it's been since you had that $5 guacamole? Because my guacamole is so damn expensive.
It's so expensive.
It is so expensive. You get 7 tacos, one thing of guacamole, same amount of them 7 tacos.
Yep.
Then you know what?
And it'd be like small or large, and it'd be like $3 or $9.50. Wait a minute.
How did we do, ma'am? What avocados are you using in the $9.50 one?
Whoa.
You just overdraft your account for some chips and salsa.
That's what
I use that analogy, and she uses that analogy because that's real life for us. Just so you know, if I'm making life decisions, it's usually about guacamole and chips and tacos.
A big point of my poor financial decisions. I'm about ready to risk it all. Always on tacos. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Hey, I will look at that and go,
nah, I ain't getting my nails done. I definitely gonna get these
tacos though. Like, these toes and these nails.
I can say no to a lot.
Tacos? That look, now that's the devil just playing with me.
It don't
in real life.
But that's what I would say. It's you can't avoid it. So embrace the parts that meet your passions and your purpose. And if you don't see that, then that's what you should seek more than the discouragement that the change exists.
Yes.
Embrace where it's taking you and what opportunities are there for your purpose. You know, if you have been miserable at your job, your finances are crazy, and there's some things you've been prolonging to do. Sometimes I think we get so zoned in, we're trying to control this one part. Like, I'm trying to fix this part. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are 10 other things you need to do that you don't know that if that leads to the answer. Yep. But those tabs are just there waiting for you to push them. Mm-hmm. No, you don't want to do it because you're trying to get over here. Okay.
And I can see it, and I still don't want to do the work.
Yeah. Well, that's because we'll tell ourselves, well, that don't have nothing to do with that. Okay.
Has everything to do with it.
Do the work.
Press the update on the phone, y'all.
Yeah, just update it.
I'm going to just be honest with y'all, but I still hate it. We can have this positive talk all day, but every time that come across my screen, I just be like, the devil. That's all I got.
That's it.
You good? Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. Update it.